Wow, another dramatic flashback. Yo, what's good? It's the boy Dude Reviews and happy spoilers for Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 8, You Have Been Warned. So the episode starts off with Tokito pulling out the needles from his face, and despite the dude escaping from the water prison, the needles are starting to take their effect onto Tokito and he's losing a lot of energy. More CGI fish start to appear. A man who sounds awfully a lot like Sasuke Uchiha tells Tokito that he can do it. Believe it? After the opening theme, which, to be honest with you, might actually be my favorite theme song so far, we dive into Tokito's past. His dad was a woodcutter who was very smiley and happy, while his mother was very ill and unwell. I love how the coloring and the lighting is so different between the mother and the father. The father who's very optimistic. The entire background is just sunshine, bright colors, light greens. But when Tokito goes into the room where his mother is really ill, it's just dark, red, blacks. Very gloomy. So the father goes out to look for some herbs to help the wife, and my gosh, the rain sequence looks beautiful. It's possibly the most realistic rain I've seen in any anime, and that beautiful sound design really is that cherry on top of that beautiful cake. At age 10, the dude lost both his mom and dad, but then we get a surprise reveal. He wasn't the only one who lost them, he had a twin brother. And unlike Tokito, Yuichiro has a completely different personality. Tokito in the past is very timid and optimistic, while Yuichiro is more pessimistic about everything. They're honestly like two sides of the same coin. He calls his brother incompetent, blames his dad for what happened to his mom because he went out for herbs. Honestly, the way Yuichiro is acting, you'd honestly think he never cared about the two parents he just lost. Later on in the episode, the lady who appears to be the master's wife, the Demon Slayer leader, approaches the two twins and tells them that they are descendants from swordsmen. Tokito is quite excited and hyped about this. He feels like now he can finally help people who are suffering and be of use to the world. But Yuichiro is not having any of this. He goes absolutely ballistic. We finally see who he truly is as a person, and we get to dive deep into his mind and heart. It's a pretty dramatic scene with some beautiful animation and visuals, especially some of the close-ups on their eyes. He actually blames his parents for the way things turned out. If only they weren't too optimistic and didn't push themselves too much, then they probably wouldn't have died. That is his mindset. And I feel like Yuichiro fears that Tokito may adopt that same mindset. Later on in the episode, the two twins sleep on a really hot night when a demon comes out of the blue. The demon slashes his arm off. This honestly may be the first time in a long time where I've seen a character scream out in pain after getting one of their limbs severed off. I always find a cliche in certain shows where the characters wouldn't seem to be in pain. They would just rub it off and just feel like it's not a big deal. But not this time round. Yuichiro is really suffering and going through a lot in this scene. And I feel like his voice actor does a phenomenal job with this. The demon who attacked him has a really ominous and dark presence. He's really scary to look at. A creepy design. You don't even see his eyes, you just see his really horrifying looking claws. I do like how this episode was directed with this scene. It's from the perspective of the two boys in this flashback and they've never seen a demon before. So of course this demon would look terrifying to them, so you don't see his eyes. But it appears that Tokito goes into a fit of rage and brutally kills the demon. How did he do that? I have no idea. He reminded me a lot of Mikasa Ackerman from season 1 of AOT, where she just awakened this huge burst of energy and killed the men. So maybe Tokito is some sort of descendant of some super powerful demon slayer dude. Who knows? I'm just an anime only. Tokito goes back to the house where his brother is lying and slowly dying. Honestly, this scene may have broken the record for the most amount of blood splattered everywhere in any given scene. While Yuichiro is slowly fading away, he prays to God, saying how kind-hearted his bro Tokito is. So yeah, it looks like his twin bro isn't so heartless after all. Like I said earlier, I feel like he just feared that Tokito adopted the same optimistic mindset like his mom and dad, and he possibly feared that that optimism may be the death of Tokito. We cut back to the present day and Tokito says Kotetsu. As he does this, a mark appears on his cheek, very similar to Tanjiro's mark when he activated his powers. So another theory that I have, maybe Tokito and Tanjiro are descendants of some ancient Demon Slayer warriors who defeated the Demon King, and now it's up to their descendants to make sure that all the descendants of the Demon King are eradicated by the Demon Slayer Warriors, a bit like Beyblade Metal Fury and the Legendary Bladers. But Upper 5 is not a happy boy and unleashes Octopus Vase Hell. The design is pretty, but man, it's creepily animated. Tokito then gets the sword that Mr. Kanamori made for him. He has a flashback to his first swordsman mentor, Mr. Tetsudo, and this old dude is super worried for Tokito, how he lost his memories, striving so hard to try and find out who he is. I wish we got to see more of Mr. Tetsudo. It looks like he was some sort of grandfather figure to Tokito, but oh well, it looks like Ufotable wanted to focus more on the heavy action scenes, and we got enough of Tokito's backstory anyway. Tokito activates his special move, Sea of Clouds and Hades, and we get a beautiful animated sequence of Tokito just slicing the octopus demon. While he's battling Upper 5, we flash back to his twin brother Yuichiro, and we see his perspective. Pretty sad flashback scenes. The scene pretty much showed us that you shouldn't always judge a book by its cover, and Yuichiro was also suffering as well, which is pretty sad. But despite all that, he still wanted to be there for Tokito and protect him, and we just get some beautiful animation sequences of Tokito just going insane. My gosh, another episode showcasing the beautiful talent of Studio Ufotable, and that's how the episode pretty much ends. Overall, I really enjoyed the flashback scenes of Tokito, and of course the beautiful animation sequences. It didn't feel slowly paced out like the previous episodes did, although I didn't really hate the pacing of those episodes, it was just more of a nitpick for me. And yes, a lot of people also praised this episode as well, but this one Twitter tweet trended and got over 1 million views in just under 16 hours. And the quoted tweets are absolutely hilarious. After weeks and weeks of some people complaining about the CGI and the pacing, it's nice to finally see a lot of fans defending Demon Slayer and just shouting so much praise to Studio Ufotable. The 1 minute scene he was talking about is the Tokito action sequence towards the end of the episode, and that wasn't the only cool sequence. There were many scenes in the previous episodes that looked amazing. So yeah, most of the replies are very positive, but despite that, you're still gonna have your haters complaining about the episode, which I don't understand at this point. If you don't like it, then this show may not be for you. While I'm quite pleased with the fans defending this episode of Demon Slayer, they don't have to throw One Piece into the mud and trash that anime. I think both series, Demon Slayer and One Piece, are both beautifully animated and they're very different in their own right, so no need to hate on both series. Personally, I'll give this episode a 9.5 out of 10 and an A+. What did you think of the episode? Did you like or hate this episode? Tell me. Like this video, subscribe for more Demon Slayer reactions, reviews, comparisons, breakdowns, rankings and more, as well as other anime updates and all that jazz. But thank you for watching, and as always, a boy did review signing out.